Man, I just finished Severance, season 2, and what a show. What a show. Oh my gosh. I have not been this invested into a live action show in years. I just been low key just strictly anime. I'm being completely genuine. I mean, aside from like live action remakes of anime or stuff like that, like I can't remember the last time I've been into a show where like I can say I think Sandman maybe, but it's not this. It's not Severance, bro. Severance. It's this is but Penguin Charlie Moist Critical. He did I guess his review on the show. Uh Typically he doesn't give spoilers, so if you are interested or thinking about watching the show, I'm gonna just give my reaction to his thoughts, and I may spoil after. If he spoils, then I mean, hey, he's gonna give y'all a warning. But
A couple weeks ago, I made a video gushing about Severance. People have been preaching the gospel.
bless you.
Woo! About how good the show was, and I finally decided to give it a whirl to see if it lives up to the hype or if I would be in there busting that myth. There was no myths busted, only nuts. I fell in love with the show, so I made a whole video just kind of talking about how it exceeded all of my wildest expectations placed upon it and how I was catching up for season 2. I caught up and now
Bro, I legit finished both seasons. I didn't even know there was a season 2 when I started watching it. I'm watching season 1, then I found out it's a season 2, and season 2 is pretty much done. Like when I caught up literally today, the day of the last episode coming out, which is amazingly ironic. So I basically got to binge watch it all the way through. Um and yeah, man, I probably finish the show in like 3 days. I typically don't just chill and watch TV. Like I got to be doing something. So either while I'm working or while I'm editing. But and there's some moments in the show where I gotta like take a moment and just like lock in because it's that good. If you watch anime and you've seen Death Note, the mystery drama psychological, that it has that aura. Death Note is a top 3 anime all time, in my opinion. Top 3. You like your uh Lelouch, Code Geass, type stuff. Stuff that has like nice storylines. The storyline of this is it's tough, man.
season 2 just finished, and what a remarkable ride it's been. If I had to sum it up with one word, it'd be this. Because there is no words to express it, just big smiles. I fucking love Severance. I think it is probably the best written show I've ever watched. And I don't say that lightly. It is a top 10 show for me of all time. I don't know where I put it in the top 10 because it hasn't fully finished yet, but I really think this is something special. I usually don't care if people dislike things that I like. I'll make jokes about it from time to time, but really at the end of the day, you like what you like. However, if there is anyone out there that dislikes Severance, I gotta raise a big eyebrow at it. Like, I don't know how that's possible. I think the show just does everything right. Like, everything this show has is executed to the highest possible level. I think the characters are among the best cast of any show I've watched, where every character feels interesting, fleshed out. There's no characters that I think are bad or weak or shitty. Like, everything in this show I think works. The only
That actually is kind of factual because it's like this is not a huge world that this I guess the plot of this show that occurs in. So the characters that are in the show all have pretty I don't want to say impactful roles. There's a different phrase that I'm looking for, but they all have a depth. Every character has depth.
thing I could see people making a complaint about is that It is often slow moving, and many times you can see that they are setting up for a cliffhanger to keep you hooked. Because this show is like Fint, and this Fint's got me moving like claymation. It has you hooked, and it knows that, so it plays with it by constantly building and then ending on a cliffhanger at the end of each episode, which is a really smart tactic. It's very effective, but I definitely can recognize that it would grind some people's asshole for sure. So
Oh
there are
my
two complaints that
gosh.
I think could be reasonable, but at the end of the day, I feel like no matter how you spin it, this is just such a solid show that I really think no matter what your taste is, you will probably like Severance. I'm pretty
The way they
confident in
just
saying
ended
that.
season 2, man.
Now, I've already said pretty much everything I want to say about Severance as a whole, so I want to talk specifically about season 2 now, but without getting into any spoilers. I recently I've been doing like a big spoiler warning than getting into spoilers. For this, I'm not even gonna bother doing that. I might just do like a whole stream going over Severance and like spoilers.
Mm.
Anyway, let's talk about season 2. I think it's another slapper. This claps again. But I do think it's actually pretty different from season 1. Season 1 injected a lot of humor and a lot of comedy throughout the season, despite being obviously very serious. Season 2, there is still comedic moments and there is still comedy, but it's not as prevalent as it was in season 1, where you'd have some zingers flying here or there, especially with a
Off topic. This is blue, but it's transparent. That's weird. Okay.
character like Dylan. Well, season 2, so much has happened to these characters where you'd have some zingers flying here or there, especially with a character like Dylan. Well, season 2, so much has happened to these characters, so much is going on with the innies, that now it would almost feel out of place if it still maintained that same DNA of them kind of like being jovial and joking all the time. Well, not even all the time. It's not like the show was never a comedy, but it had really good comedic writing to it, like
Yeah.
with a character like Rickon. Well, in season 2, yes, there are still jokes and comedic moments, but it is much more serious because so much has happened to these characters. So a character like Dylan, who was, firing from the hip with jokes here and there, well, he's going through like a really very confusing character arc with his innie and the life that he is now privy to with his Audi. And he is now really struggling with that, and he is going through so much. So now he is not making a ton of jokes. None of the characters are, because shit is popping off. And I'm not saying this is a complaint or anything that, they didn't Thor Love and Thunder this bitch, where they just go like hog wild, all eggs in the basket of comedy because it worked in season 1. So let's just ride this horse till it croaks.
I like that though. I prefer movies that know how to balance out the funny moments with the serious. It's like they throw it in there very sparingly, but they throw it in at the right time, so it's like it hits. And it don't even have to hit hard. It's just like it hits. That was funny. For the moment, that didn't need to be super funny. It was funny enough. Or for the moment, whatever occasion it would be, it called for it to be funnier. Um, but I it's like I didn't notice that, but like now that he's saying it, I can see that for sure. Season 2, the tone was way more serious. And again, like I said, that's pretty much up my alley.
Eyes and everyone hates it. Like, I'm happy they didn't overstay their welcome with as many jokes as they are making in season 1, even though I'm still really confident they could have made it work. It makes sense that this wouldn't be as lighthearted at times, and why the characters are much more serious, because they have all been through so much, and they and we as viewers have learned so much too, that it really would feel out of place if they were kind of like the exact same as they were in season 1. So I appreciate that they're developing, they're evolving, and we're seeing that. I think it's a good thing. I don't have any complaints about season 2 or anything. The only thing I would say is that in season 2 there is one episode that I was kind of on. It had tones of mid, and it was the episode with Cobell. Again, I'm avoiding spoilers, but
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
not that I
yeah,
thought the
yeah.
episode was bad or anything. It was
I can see that for
fine,
sure.
but I really felt like it didn't really bring a ton to the table. It felt kind of stagnant. Like, yes,
It felt like a filler episode. Like it felt like they stretched out something and put in. It felt like they tried to give Cobell depth in that episode, and I don't know, maybe because I was occupied while watching it, I was paying attention, but I was multitasking. But I don't know. I mean, I did that with all the episodes actually, majority of them. But that one, there was a key component of the episode where I felt like, I don't know. It's just I kind of agree with him that component of the episode was important, but it didn't feel like it had any importance from the rest of the season. So it's like they made this episode specifically about her to show this one thing and this one thing. Maybe that'll come back around in season 3. I don't know.
We're learning more about Cobell, but it dragged it out over the course of that whole episode when I felt it was kind of unnecessary. Like it felt like the things they wanted to get across, they were things that could have been part of another episode here and there. Like
Yeah,
I don't think it needed its own whole episode for it. But it's again, it wasn't even like a bad episode per se. But one of the reasons I feel like it was a little underwhelming is because Lumen is set up as this like almost omniscient evil company, and now we're seeing a different piece of Lumen, and it still feels like the whole company is like 6 people. And like that's kind of something that I've felt about Lumen as a whole in general, where you only ever really see like a handful of people. Everything else is like a mystery. But it always has this like looming presence that it's always watching. Lumen, they got eyes on you when you know, they see you when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. You know, they know if you've been bad or good. Lumen is always there, and they have people everywhere. They can always fuck you up if need be if you fall out of line. But then when I see something like the Cobell episode, I really get the feeling like maybe they don't. Maybe there really is just like 6 people here, and if they need like hired muscle, they go on Fiverr and send like a car. Like it just didn't give me this sense of wow, Lumen is fucking. Whoa, they're big. It's BlackRock. They got people and things everywhere. Which again isn't really like a complaint per se. I just felt like that episode made it feel a little less than. In season 1, I didn't think there was a single episode that was anything below a 9.5 out of 10. Season 2, with that Cobell episode, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Still great, like still good, still fine. But I wanted to point that out. I still think season 2 is amazing. I think Severance is an absolute must watch for literally everybody. Milchick continues to be my favorite character. In season 2, he gets to spread
that's
his wings
wild.
even more. He is an
That's a
absolute
wild favorite
scene
character.
stealer when he is on screen. I also love how they bring his use of big words, his vernacular, as a story element to his character here, where now Lumen itself is complaining about Milchick's use of big words, where he'll use needlessly complicated terms to describe simple things. And it's fun watching him try and like dumb it down and not say things like devour feculence. But maybe he will say devour feculence out of spite because it's who he is. That is what Milchick does. And Milchick, he'll bust it out on you sometimes too. I just love that character. I think he is extraordinary. Severance just continues to be the only show that actually has me lock in while watching it on the edge of my seat, literally talking out loud and like emoting for some of the twists and build up climax.
Bro, the last episode, I was just like this, looking at the screen, like, yeah.
Climactic moments. I am just so invested in this world. It is masterfully crafted. Again, season 2 I think is shot beautifully. It's an amazing, amazing season. Great writing. I love the direction that it's going. I can't wait for season 3. I can't reiterate this enough. I do think this show is a must watch. So yeah, I liked Severance season 2. Severance as a whole, one of my favorite shows ever. So good. That's about it. So,
Yep. Yep. He didn't spoil, so I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all. If you could speak extremely vaguely about it in the comment section, I would really appreciate it. I want to see y'all thoughts. For some of y'all who have watched it, get some of y'all opinions. Um, Great show, man. Very good show. Uh, I'm looking. I'm looking forward to season 3, but I hate waiting on a show. Like I'm glad I caught it when I caught it, so I got to binge watch everything all at once. But now I gotta sit here and wait with everybody who had to wait for season 2 to come out. I gotta wait. I gotta wait the whole year, man. Oh gosh. Apple TV, they did their thing with this though. They definitely, I'm not a subscriber to any streaming services, I have my websites. But shout out to Apple TV, man. They did their thing, bro, for sure. Uh, they hit gold with that one, gold, platinum, whatever you want to call it, diamond. Um, yeah. But again, yeah, y'all like the video, and if you have watched the show, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, as vaguely as possible to try to not spoil for some of the people who do want to watch it. But yeah, man. As he said, I think that's the for a live action show that I've watched. I genuinely can't think of a live action show that I could say that is better than that for me so far. Um, I don't know again because like I said, I watched a decent amount of anime, so mm, but yeah, man.